What's up, everybody? How's it going? So today was Labor Day, and so had the day off from work and hung out with a bunch of different families from Revision. We played some yard games, ate food together, and just hung out. So it was a fun and relaxing day. Probably the most fun part of the day was Mike and I beat everyone at spike ball, so that was a blast. And today's devotion was pretty cool too. It was this continuation of the Sermon on the Mount. We've gone through part of it and now are continuing it in chapter 7 of Matthew. And I can definitely relate to today's devotion. When I get something new or something that requires some assembly, I am not an instructions type of person. I just like to rip it apart and put it together just with what I see in front of me. I think it's a fun challenge. It's fun to do it that way, but it's not always the best way to do things, and sometimes you miss actually some key steps and it ends up taking longer because you have to go back and try again. And I just want to read this short section from today's devotion because I thought it was so cool. Kind of got the main idea across. It said, "It's easy to think that we have no need for instructions for our lives, only to later realize that we've messed things up, which is exactly why Jesus advised that following his instructions is the way for wise people to build a safe, solid, and significant life." He had just told the listening crowd to turn the other cheek, to go the extra mile, to forgive enemies, and to sell treasures so that they could give to the poor. But just getting the instructions isn't enough. The key is to follow them. It sounds so simple, but at the same time, it's such a profound short sentence because so often we just have things in front of us or situations in our lives where we just want to do it our own way. We want to figure it out on our own, but Jesus says here, it's right in front of you. It's in the Bible. Here are the instructions. Just follow them. And I promise you will lead a great life. And so for your own lives, I encourage you. That's why reading the Bible is so important, because Jesus has laid it out for us. God breathed these words into this book so that we could have an incredible and perfect example in Jesus of how we should live our lives and follow after him. And it's incredible, and I encourage you to open up your Bible to see those instructions and to see that they're not hindrances, but they're actually there to help you live a more full and complete life. And that's pretty cool.